Hey there everyone, this is Colby and I'm back with another video. There's been a few decks I've been working with for a couple of days. This is one of them actually, Ancient Gear. Now, a little bit to know about this, I've been wanting to build an Ancient Gear deck way before I was into Cyberse, and then, well, ever since Cyberse came out I was going into that, but before that I was an Ancient Gear fan. I've been trying to find a way to make this perfectly viable. And after looking at a few cards now, because it's been such a long time, I think I found what can be a very, very viable, powerful deck indeed. So let's go ahead and get started. We have one copy of Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. This card that was tributed summoned by tributing an Ancient Gear monster, attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. And this card was tributed summoned using a gadget monster. It can make it a second attack during each battle phase. If this card attacks, your opponent's spells and trap cards and monster effects cannot be activated until the end of the damage step. And at the end of the damage step, if this card attacked, you can destroy one spell or trap card on the field. Ancient Gear Golem. It cannot be special summoned, and if this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spells and trap cards until the end of the damage step, and this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound. This thing, I saw it before. I only had Ancient Gear Golem. I haven't had Ultimate Pound. When I first saw this card as a kid, I thought, man, this is absolutely powerful. If this card attacks a defensive monster, inflicts piercing battle damage up to twice per turn. When this card attacking destroys monster by battle, you can discard one machine monster. This card can make an attack in a row. And if this card and field destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add one polymerization from your deck to your hand. And if you do, add one other Ancient Gear monster from your graveyard to your hand. It can be quite powerful if you're going off fusion summoning, which back then I was doing a little bit of that, but compared to what this deck made of, this is much more. Ancient Gear Wyvern. This card's normal or special summon. You can add one Ancient Gear card from your deck to your hand, except Wyvern. Also, you cannot set cards for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect of Wyvern once per turn. If this card attacks, your opponent's monsters cannot activate their effects until the end of the damage step. Two copies of Gold Gadget, which is, if this card's normal summon or special summon, you can special summon a level 4 machine monster from your hand, and if this card is destroyed by battle card effect, you can special summon a level 4 gadget monster from your deck, except Gold Gadget. You can only use one effect per turn and only once per turn. Two copies of Ancient Gear Frame. You can discard one card, add one Ancient Gear Golem, or one spell or trap that specifically lists the card Ancient Gear Golem in its text from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Ancient Gear Frame once per turn. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap card effects until the end of the damage step. If it places a card in its own control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can special summon up to 3 Ancient Gear Golem or Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound from your hand, ignoring their summoning conditions. Two copies of Silver Gadget. This is sort of just like Gold Gadget. When this card is almost special summoned, you can special summon one level 4 machine monster from your hand, and this card is destroyed by battle card effect, you can special summon one level 4 gadget monster from your deck, except Gadget. You can only use one effect per turn. Two copies of Ancient Gear Gadget. If this card's normal special summon, you can declare one type, monster, spell, or trap this turn. If a monster you control attacks, your opponent's spell, traps, or monster effects, whichever is declared, cannot be activated until the end of the damage step. And once per turn, you can declare one gadget monster's name, and until the end of the turn, it becomes this name. Three copies of Ancient Gear Box. This card is added from your deck to your graveyard to your hand, except by drawing it. You can add one Earth machine monster with 500 attack and or defense from your deck to your hand, except Box. You can only use that once per turn. This one's my favorite, Ancient Gear Hunting Hound. If this card is normal summon, it inflicts 600 damage to your opponent, and if this card attacks, your opponent can activate spell or trap cards back until the end of the damage step. But this is my favorite one. Once per turn, you can fusion summon one Ancient Gear fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials. This is basically like a free polymerization, except you also get to do 600 bird damage, and then if you can attack, another 1,000. Two copies of Overload Fusion. Fusion summon one Dark Machine fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed from your field or graveyard. Two copies of Ancient Gear Workshop. You can target one Ancient Gear monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. Two copies of Ancient Gear Fusion. This is... I gotta say, when I see fusion cards like Fusion Fire and all that, I think, oh man, that's pretty powerful. I see this one, and this takes the cake. You could fusion summon one Ancient Gear Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. And then if you use Ancient Gear Golem or Ancient Gear Ultimate Pound, you control as fusion material. You can also use monsters from your deck as material. So basically, if you're able to, you can chain Howitzer, and if special summon one Ancient Gear Golem or Ancient Gear Pound, then use fusion on your next turn, and just get out your best fusion monster. It's quite powerful. Ancient Gear Drill, if you control an Ancient Gear monster, discard one card and set one spell card directly from your deck. This turn, that spell cannot be activated. One copy of Terraforming, 2 copies of Limiter Removal, double the attack of all machine monsters you can currently control until the end of this turn, but during the end phase of this turn, destroy those monsters. 3 copies of Double Cyclone, you can target one spell trap card you control and one spell and trap your opponent controls, destroy them. 3 copies of Ancient Gear Fortress. During the turn they are normal special summoned, your opponent cannot target Ancient Gear monsters you control with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to activation of Ancient Gear cards and effects. This card is destroyed in the spell and trap zone. You special summon one Ancient Gear monster from your hand or graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Ancient Gear monsters. And 3 copies, of course, of Gear Town. Both players can only summon Ancient Gear monsters for 1 less tribute, and when this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you special summon one Ancient Gear monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. For the fusions, this is my favorite one, Chaos Ancient Gear Giant. It takes 4 Ancient Gear monsters, so it's quite hefty, but again, Ancient Gear Fusion with Ultimate Pounder or Golem. It must be fusion summoned, cannot be spell summoned by other ways. It's unaffected by spell and trap effects. Your opponent's monsters cannot activate their effects during the battle phase, and this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. And this card attacks a defenseless monster, you inflict piercing damage. This is basically the most overpowered fusion Ancient Gear has, and it's quite powerful. Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem must be fusion summoned, and this card attacks a defenseless monster, inflict piercing and battle damage. This card attacks, your opponent cannot activate spell and trap card effects until the end of the damage step. And this card is destroyed, you can target one Ancient Gear Golem in your graveyard, and you can special summon ignoring summoning conditions. 2 copies of Ancient Gear Megaton Golem. It takes 3 Ancient Gear monsters. If this card attacks, your opponent can activate spell track card effects and damage step. If this card is fusion summoned using 2 or more Ancient Gear Golem or Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Powers material, it can time up to that many times during each battle phase. Its phase of fusion summon card in its own's control these field custom opponent's card effect. I can special summon one Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem from my extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. 2 copies of Ancient Gear Howitzer. It's unaffected by other card effects, and during my main phase, I can inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. You can only use the effect of Howitzer once per turn. This card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. You can special summon one Ancient Gear monster from your deck, ignoring summoning conditions. 3 copies of number 41 Bazooka, the Terribly Tired Tapir. Once per turn, during your standby phase, you detach one material from this card, and you cannot destroy it. This attack position card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Also, your opponent can target this attack position monster with card effects. While this card is face up in defense position, change all face-up monsters on the field to defense position. Also negate the activate effects on monsters that were in defense position when this effect was activated. And then just 2 copies of Land Forcingus. I can't really pronounce the name, but this is just meant to help us if we really want to put monsters in the grave or whatnot. But this is the Ancient Gear deck. I've been trying to find a way to make it a little bit faster with the fusion summoning. But if you guys see you want to suggest, by all means put in there. You could add more negates using hand traps and all that and such. But again, I typically don't really do it too much. Okay, we already got a Gear Town, which is already right off the bat pretty good. So we'll start off with that. Put an Ancient Gear Fortress onto the field, and we'll get Frame. Activate Frame's effect, the removal into grave. We'll grab Ancient Gear Fusion. So we can already go into Howitzer if we really wanted, which I'm probably gonna. Yeah, let's go ahead and go with Howitzer, and then we can just do the 1,000 damage to my opponent, and then go to our end phase. Now, if he destroys this, I get an Ancient Gear monster. If he destroys this, well, Howitzer's effect. Let's go to regular. Let's just go to Ultimate Pound. Why not? Oh. Oh, okay. Well, let's go and do that. Ancient Gear Wyvern, Ancient Gear Fusion, and this is what's so broken. Yep, I'll take that. And let's just use my entirety of my deck. And now we have our Ultimate Fusion. Alright, let's just stop him. Yep, this is what I love. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what really happened. The recording just sort of suddenly stopped there for a moment. But didn't miss much. They destroyed my wyvern, but that's really just about it. And it's unaffected. This is really powerful. I love this card. Up, unaffected. It doesn't matter its defense position. Let's just, yeah. And it's dead. Anyways, that is ancient gear for you guys. By all means, leave suggestions what else you would want to add. I didn't add polymerization with ultimate pound because I thought overload fusion to help fusion someone from the graveyard would be pretty great. And then of course ancient gear fusion, you just kind of saw what it did. I'm gonna be uploading a little more deck profiles. There's, I'll show you guys. There's Blue Eyes, Cubic, Grand Maju, Marincest. I'm working on Mystic V2, Shadow. There's a lot of decks I plan on working on, and you guys are gonna see that pretty soon. But these suggestions, what you guys want to see, I'll probably put those in there as well. You guys have a great day, and peace out.